I'm Brandon Roberts, sitting here with Judge Executive Wayne T. Rutherford. And Judge, it's the end of the fiscal year, and I understand that you have presented a balanced budget to the fiscal court.
It's the end of the fiscal year, and we're going to end this present budget we got in balance, and that complies with Kentucky revised statute. That we have to end the year with a balanced budget, and the last day of the year is the last day of June. So we was worried, so we took action back a few months ago to comply with the Kentucky law that we end the year with a balanced budget. We took a 5% cut across the board, and we, our commissioners and directors, we asked them to be frugal in what they purchased, to purchase only what they needed. That we knew that when we put this new budget together that we was going to have a problem. And we needed, even if we was going to have a balanced budget ending this fiscal year, we was hoping that we had some carryover money to put in this budget. Because we knew, last year, this present budget we're in, we had about 2.9 million or something like that in one-time funding. Our treasurer, who has 25 years experience, of course, I've done 21 budget, and we have 2 CPAs on the staff here, our finance director and our purchasing agent. And we all knew that we kicked the can down the road for another year. And so the year is here. So then we've ended this year with a balanced budget. Then we have to come up with a balanced budget for the next year. Now, under and we understand too that times in the United States and around the world is tough times when you talk about budgets. Revenue is down, the economy is down, it's low, and so what do we do? So that's what we're attempting to sort out. So we have to go by the Kentucky revised statute, by this book right here. And that book says the county judge executive shall present a balanced budget for the last day of April to the fiscal court. So I presented a balanced budget to the fiscal court. This same statute states that the fiscal court as a body works from what I've given, and they as a body comes up with a budget for the next fiscal year. So I've met my responsibilities, and I've not only from what I presented to the court, but what I presented, I had the revenue. The governor of a commonwealth or a state in the United States has to have a balanced budget. All local governments in the United States, the cities and the counties, must have under the law a balanced budget. So I presented a balanced budget to the members, the other members of the court. I'm a member of the legislative body in Pike County. The legislative body is the Pike County Fiscal Court. The magistrates and myself are local legislators. I'm the chief executive of the county. I am the chairman of the fiscal court, but the local legislative body, as a body, must come up with a balanced budget. So what I have done is give an option. Now, the governor of the Commonwealth, when he came up with the balanced budget for this budget year, he presented a balanced budget. He balanced his budget by using some revenue from gambling. I think it was, casinos at the racetracks and so forth. And then the legislature took it from there and of course, enacted the laws that the state operates on, the same as the county. So I had to present too, and I did that. And what I presented is it don't stop the progress that this county has been ongoing for this administration. Now, these magistrates, the local legislators, was all reelected, and I was reelected. So it must mean that we was doing something right, and that we was spending the taxpayers' money properly, because all of us was reelected. So now we have to come up with a balanced budget for this year. So that's what we're working toward. Why did we get in this position? We got in this position because we had a flood. That money was not in the budget. FEMA, we had to match FEMA for 13%. We had to match NRCS, USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture. We had to match their 10%. So that is, I think, $1,000,000 including FEMA and the United States Department of Agriculture. That money was not in the county budget for this fiscal year we're in this year, and that is a carryover. I asked our budget office and our finance office to furnish me the high severance tax for the 4-year term that myself and the members of the court was in this past 4 years, and then get me the low year on the amount of severance tax coming back to Pike County, and give me the figure of the difference. And that figure was $5 million, a little over $5 million. So figure that out. That's $6,192,000 thereabouts of what we was in a hole because of the flood and the fact that coal severance tax was down. So that is the reason. And then when we look at the budget for this year and we look at the health insurance, and we got 80-20 for our employees. Probably one of the best, probably the people listening to this program wish they had 80-20 where they work. But the cost has escalated on that this coming fiscal year, $300,000. So you add that to your shortfall. Then you add the extra fuel cost. Everybody knows what the price. You go fill your car, your truck up. You know what it costs you today. It's right around $4 a gallon. And if it's diesel, it's more than that. Our solid waste department has, we pick up 33,000 homes and businesses in Pike County. And so you can imagine our fuel cost is running last month and month before last, $30,000 more per month. Now, previous to that, it wasn't quite that high because the price hadn't gone up. It just escalated in the last 60 days. But that is a problem for us. And remember the hard winter that we had. We used all the salt we had contracted. We had to go out, find another supplier, pay more for salt. And when we got through, we looked at the budget, and it was thousands of dollars. That adds it to the surplus. So that's where we got to where we are today. Then we have a shortfall going in of over right at $3 million, right around 3.1, 3.2. It keeps moving, but that's where it is. That is the shortfall. So what we have to do is, what I had to do is to meet my legal responsibility on the law, present a balanced budget. Then, as I'll repeat again, it further says that the fiscal court as a body then comes together, and we're going to be doing that May the 17th. But we have a work session set for this coming week to work on the budget and try to get ready for the court meeting on the 17th, where we as a body will present work towards a balanced budget. And so that we will have a budget when July 1 comes, and the state would have to approve the budget. And I know some people would wonder and say, well, the coal business is coming back. Well, coal business is down in this county 10%. And we was very fortunate this past year. We have a treasurer, which is great, experienced treasurer. She assists me in doing the budget. And last year we projected our coal severance tax and minerals tax, and we almost hit it. We was a little off, but this year's budget was just a little bit above. The severance tax was a little bit above, so that got us out of this year. But the projections for this year is it's going to be down $3 million and some. So people will say, well, if the coal business, if the economy is going to come back, can't you get a budget based on the economy coming back if it looks like it's coming back? No, you can't. The state has to approve a budget. It has to be in black and white. It has to be correct figures. They want it to be very conservative, because the law is that you have to live within your budget. We don't print money like the federal government prints. If they get in trouble, they print more money. States and local government, I'll repeat again, they do not have that ability. So we have to have a budget. So I gave them a budget. We'll get together, your local legislature, and I say that because we're talking to the people as we have this program today. We will get together and try to decide what is best in Pike County, Kentucky. Pike County, one of the most progressive counties in this Commonwealth. City of Pikeville, most progressive city in this Commonwealth. But to maintain that, we've got to have employees, and we have to go, if we have to cut, and the magistrates and the legislative bodies, the magistrates decide that they don't want to take my recommendation on a balanced budget, and we don't have to as a body, then we have to cut. Now you get $3 million cut, and you have to go to the largest part of your budget. Number one is the road fund. Well, we got 800 miles of road. We got some of the best employees in the country in regard to experience. Most of them over 15 to 18 years. And we are obligated, and people expect and deserve to have their roads and bridges maintained and to be safe. Children to get to school, to get to the doctor, to get out. I mean, that's an obligation that we have as a county government. Then you would have to cut the road money drastically. Then you have to look at where else is your big money in it? What's in wages? Then you would have to cut 25, 30 jobs. And we have not been filling positions for the last few months. We've been leaving the vacant with attrition, where somebody retires, we don't fill the position because of our budget situation we've known about. So we have less employees today, the Pike County Physical Court has, than we had when we went in office and back in 2007. We have less employees today. We have people that is retiring, and before this fiscal year actually runs out, or when it runs out, and we'll not be filling those positions. So through attrition, we are saving the county money. But if you have to start cutting, as I said, you have to go to your big account. You can't do it by getting 3,000 here, 10,000 there. I think we need magistrate needs an office out in the county. But if you start cutting, I think that's where the people's going to expect the court to go to first. We have, and we deserve it. We have county parks out in the county. We got, 28 parks in the county, 27 or 28 parks in the county. And we have community centers, beautiful community centers, well-used community centers. And we would need, and I would hate to see those closed. We have 3 swimming pools. I would hate to see the swimming pools closed. Our people deserve that out in these communities. I would hate to see that, but that's the thing that the people that pay taxes would expect you to do if you was going to cut. Then we have, again, you have to look at your big accounts, and as you go down the budget and you start looking where to cut, then you look at solid waste. What are you going to do with solid waste? 33,000 homes and businesses they pick up. So we can't do much cutting there. We use the work release program, and under the county code, when Judge Patton put the code together, it says that you use the work release people from the jail to help the budget be balanced in solid waste. So we're still doing that. But what a job that is in a mountainous area. So that's where you have to look. We spend over $4 million at the jail. And the jailer's got to have people to lock them up and let them out. But if we have to start cutting, that's where your big money is. So that's where you have to cut. So as we look, it's nothing easy when you do a budget. I've been here This is my 6th term. This is the first time that we've had a budget in this condition. It's the first time that this country has gone through a recession other than the Depression in the 30s. This is the worst recession in the history of this country. And we bared the blunt of it as same as anybody can read or watch television and listen. And then our coal industry is under attack. The Obama administration, EPA, you can't get a permit to build land for us to use for development here on mountaintop developments. They don't issue any permits anymore for mountaintop, as they call it, mining, or for strip mining. They don't issue any permits. They won't give you one. You deep mine, 7, 8, or 9 months. They slowball it. So we're in trouble. Then you have the American Electric Power Company, even talking about bringing Western coal into the plant in Louisa, Kentucky Power Company plant. So it don't look good for the severance tax, and we can't depend on severance tax to develop this county and have the things that people deserve and expect. And I know that Governor Patton said the other day when he talked to myself and the magistrates that people are in this country, their attitude is now, we want the services, but we don't want to pay. So let's talk about what the occupational fee that I proposed. That occupational fee that I proposed, nobody that's on a set income, it's on Social Security, SSI, disability, they don't pay. It's a payroll tax. If you work, you pay 1%. The city of Pikeville, a lot of people stopped me and said, oh, we don't want that tax. Where do you live? They live in Pikeville. They're already paying it. A lot of them didn't know it. They're already paying it. Elkhorn City's got the tax under this statute, 67.80. Coal Run's got the tax under this statute. Under this statute, this proposed occupational fee is in it. Got a call the other night at home. Fellow lives in Coal Run. He wasn't aware that Coal Run had under this section of the statute. Under this section, they have the tax. Martin County has the tax. The Bizrita Park, where the federal prison is, Pike County owns 25% of that park. We get a rebate under the setup and the deal they had when they built the federal penitentiary on the park that we own 25%, the industrial park that we own 25%. And we get a rebate from Martin County every year of this occupational fee from Martin County. And it's put in our industrial development fund, because that's what it says. It goes into. So 74 counties in Kentucky have this occupational fee. 74. Gosh, you can name them right around us. Martin, Johnson, Morgan, just keep naming them. Wolf. 140 cities in this Commonwealth has an occupational fee. Now, property taxes in Kentucky was froze in the late 70s or early 90s, late 70s or early 80s. And you can get no more from property tax than 4% per year is all a county government could get or city government could get from property taxes. So you can't finance government from property taxes. That's where your revenue is. This is the only source of revenue that the legislature has provided. We can only put on 1% because this statute says that over 30,000 you only have 1%, which means the city of Pikeville has 2% because they can go to 2%. In a county that's smaller than 30,000, they can go, and it makes sense because they're small. And a lot of counties put more than 1% because they're a small county and they'll get enough revenue in to operate the government right. So ours brings in 1%. Just imagine 1%. If you make say somebody working for us made $25,000, that'd be $250 a year. Now, equate that down by the months. It's not very much at all. So what I have done is met my responsibility under the Kentucky law. And go ahead if you got a question, Dan.
There's also, there's no double taxation, and it doesn't apply to business revenues, if I'm correct.
If you are in one of the cities that I mentioned in this county, if you're in Coal Run, Elkhorn City, or Pikeville, you do not pay this. I'm going to repeat that. If you live in the city limits of Pikeville, Coal Run, and Elkhorn City, you will not pay this tax because the law says you can't. So it's only outside the city limits. What was your other question?
It doesn't apply to business revenues.
Don't apply to business revenue. The county attorney's office is going to have to look at redoing what they brought up for us. But no, it's not a business tax. It's not on businesses. It's only on people who work. So this is what I proposed, and I will meeting my obligation when I work with my magistrates. I will make a alternative one on cutting, and then and then you're talking about furlough days for employees. You know, you're talking about doing the things you really don't want to do to keep this from being a progressive county. So, but I will give an alternative budget beside of the one that I've given, and it will contain furlough days, and it will contain cuts and well, I would just hate to see it happen, but closing the magistrate's office, closing the parks, and closing the swimming pools. And, you know, I can remember where Governor Beshear said he would told the legislature when he gave them the balanced budget, he said, if you're going to cut, you better watch where you cut, because I will start closing down the tourist information booths as you come into state, and then I'll go to state parks next. And then I'll go to I'll get the frills of state government first, and then before I start cutting people's jobs. And then he made education off limits. I think this court is going to have to put like solid waste. I think they're going to have to be, because they're bare bone anyway. But we'll just have to work on it. It's a tough time to be in government. They elected us to make decisions, and we're big enough to make decisions. And I know whatever we do, it's not going to satisfy everybody. But so we want to be understanding. I love this county, love its people, and I certainly don't want. I'm not going to do anything to hurt this county. You know, I've got a vote on the court, and I'm going to vote, and my vote's not going to be to hurt any employee. But imagine if we had to take 50% of the family policy of an employee that makes $10.93 of what they would have to pay for that 50% of that health insurance policy, $9,600 a year. And I just don't think that we should go that route. And I'm not going to be for that. But I said, again, the law says we as a body must come up with a budget, and we will discuss all these things that I've talked about today and a lot more. Now, in the work session, we certainly can discuss the budget in work session, but again, under the Kentucky law, we have to go in closed session if we start talking about if we're going to look at cutting employees, because that has to be done under the law in closed session. They don't allow us to do that out in public. So people need to understand that. But we're going to be working. We've worked on this. My staff has worked for a month. And as I said, I've got a CPA, 2 CPAs. I've got a treasurer with 25 years experience in my 21 budgets that I've helped put together in the past. And we're trying to give the magistrates all the information we can, answer any question they have, give them the good, the bad, and the recommendations that everybody can make a decision from.